Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where we continue the adventures Star Tour style, and we continue to take a little tour of things in Walt Disney World that we think could use a little bit of either a refresh, an overhaul, a retheme. There's a lot that can be done.
This is us doing our armchair Imagineering thing. You
know, it didn't really start like that, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I hope you enjoy hearing us do what I think you do.
This is us auditioning for...
This is our reel.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, what's next on the list? All right, I'm happy to move on to Hollywood Studios because there's some stuff. There's some stuff here. At this last D23, they released concept art for a Monsters, Inc. land that will be coming to Hollywood Studios that features a door-themed roller coaster.
Can't wait.
From the door.
That we hope will be in the animation, what's it called? Courtyard.
Yes. So people right now are really speculating where this land is going to go because Disney has not released it, and there's been a lot of conversation. There was an article that's saying they were going to announce where it goes, but decided not to last minute. I don't know if that's true because a lot of people are saying that that person has not revealed their sources. There's a lot of online chatter about this. So the options on the table, theoretically, are the Animation Courtyard, which currently houses...
Makes the most sense to me.
Right. Disney Junior Live and Star Wars Launch Bay, and on one side, the refreshed Little Mermaid show. Muppet Vision 3D, Muppet Studios...
is another option.
And Grand Avenue is another option.
Mm-hmm.
So that would replace, theoretically, Muppet Vision 3D, Mama Melrose, Pizza Rizzo, It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't think it'll fit there, but that could just be my, hopeful... You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I agree with you, but I don't know what's behind there. But I agree with you that I don't think just that would be enough to...
Batu is behind there.
House a roller coaster. Oh, Batu is behind there. You're right. Okay, yeah. So that...
Yeah, you know exactly what's behind there.
You're right. So yeah, that doesn't really jive. And then the third option was Sunset Showcase, which is the building right next to Rock and Roller Coaster, because theoretically there is unused space over there, and that huge building next to Rock and Roller Coaster currently is housing something called Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, which is a very low-key entertainment offering at best, I will say. So lots of options on the table.
Featuring that's the Cars movie kind of thing, which we're getting a Cars Land in Magic Kingdom, so it would make sense for that to go away.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of nothing, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest, this is the only thing in all of Walt Disney World I haven't done yet. Because I just don't care.
It is low priority, I think, for anyone to experience. Unless you're a major Cars fan.
Right. And maybe I'll go and I'll love it. But it's not a ride.
I don't think that's a possibility.
Okay.
Just because the show, it's pretty much just a screen. There's a Lightning McQueen figure. Animatronic, I guess you would say.
Car?
And car.
Is it car size?
He's just a car, yeah.
Okay.
He's a car.
He's a car.
And that is cool to look at, but it's not that cool. And it's just a short story that they show on the screen.
They have these cars from Cars, in the Cars Land.
Could they not have called this movie something else?
I know.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, they have these cars from Cars in Cars Land, in Disneyland, and they're just kind of out and about in the streets of Cars Land.
Yeah.
So that to me seems more fun than me searching out a car to say hi to.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
That's what I thought it was. That's why I haven't gone yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, of all of these options, we are thinking Animation Courtyard sounds like it makes a lot of sense.
To me, it's nothing's back there. I get that there are things back there, but
Which brings us back to the list, because the thing back there is Star Wars Launch Bay.
Okay.
And that is on here because we feel that needs to go immediately.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's a waste of space. And that building has so much heritage because it is the animation studio that used to be here. And to me, it's really a shame that the magic of Disney animation... I didn't care in the beginning that it was replaced by a Star Wars exhibit. Sure, fine. It has been years and years. And
there's a Star Wars Land. It doesn't make sense.
There's a Star Wars Land, exactly.
Right.
So
Does anybody go back there for that? I wonder.
I have been back there one
Me too.
time.
Me too. I was bored. So
Right. If you're a super Star Wars fan, there's an entire land for you now,
Right.
and Star Tours, by the way.
Right.
So, like, this is a huge waste of space, in my opinion. I'm for walkthrough attractions as a thing, as a concept, but I've had it with Star Wars Launch Bay. It's definitely time to replace that. It's just too much of a real estate liability.
When it opened, it felt temporary.
Yeah.
And that was a really long time ago. That was pre-Batu at all, which then I guess it made more sense. Because,
I'm going to guess 2014 or 2015 on Star Wars Launch Bay. It's
you're going to look it up and see if you're right?
Yeah.
So it felt temporary to begin with. So for it to still be there all these years later when it's disconnected from the Star Wars land that we have, it doesn't make any sense.
2015.
Okay, good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
It is disconnected. It doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely no problem with shows that aren't aimed at me. I see the place for that. I think you could put a Disney Junior show anywhere. Yep. Anywhere. Like if they put this Monsters Inc. land there and they took that Disney Junior show, maybe move it to where the Cars thing is now.
Sure. Or
because there's going to be a Cars land.
The Mickey Shorts Theater, which is just currently showing literally a cartoon. You could put it in there.
Oh my gosh. Can I jump back to Epcot?
Yeah, please.
Or
just a short boat ride away.
Yeah, that's true. Or a Skyliner.
Or walk. You could literally walk. Yeah. Okay.
You could literally walk. We've done that. It's shocking. It was shocking to me when I did it because I was like, this feels like it should be a whole nother world away.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like the Pixar shorts that you saying that reminded me. I like the Pixar short thing in Epcot, but it feels like if it feels like they either need to lean into it and make it bigger and better or change it to something bigger and better.
I agree, especially in a theater with so much potential. That theater housed legendary attractions. Magical Journeys was housed in that theater, followed by Captain EO, followed by
Honey, I Shrunk the
Audience. And all of them were received very well by guests, hit after hit after hit in that theater.
The lines were crazy. And now you go into the Pixar thing and you're in there basically by yourself.
It has gone from
I like it. Me too. But I don't think it's working.
It used to be something that got you so excited to experience, and now it's something you don't even need to do on your trip.
Which makes me sad. Here's especially why it makes me sad. The Imagination Pavilion is such a pretty pavilion, and I feel like both the attractions over there are like meh.
They're lacking in imagination. Both of them. Yeah, that's a problem.
It's a problem. It's such a beautiful building over there.
It is.
It's speaking of beautiful buildings.
What?
My favorite dilapidated building. I mean, if we're going to refurb something.
We should.
That thing is falling apart.
You're referring, of course, to the Wonders of Life.
Yes, which if you're a Disney history fan at all, it's the one that had Body Wars. It had the DNA strand in front of it. It had the Making of Me.
And if you're a more recent joining Disney fan, it is a gold domed building, vacant almost all of the time, but perhaps that you have wandered into when it was the festival center.
But even that, it's been a while. I think it's like a dump now. I'm serious, just based on what
storage,
we've seen.
Mainly. Yeah, I think that is true, that it is mostly storage. Disney did promise that this would be, I say promise, which is a hefty accusation. Disney did share with all of us that this would be redeveloped into something called the Play Pavilion.
But that was before COVID. And we're trying to be understanding.
Exactly, and we're trying to be understanding. But ever since then, it has truly just continued to sit there.
Right. It got budget cut, which doesn't totally make sense because now they're doing new stuff.
Right, now they're introducing brand new attractions, so it's a little
confusing.
Curious. They also have left an attraction in there to sit in the complete darkness that entire time, and people have started stealing stuff from it. So, that's a little frustrating. That's a little weird that Disney kind of has allowed that to sit as long as it has. And it's just one of those things where it's like...
It's a really pretty building.
It
could, especially if they did something with it. Yeah. It's dome. It's like a shiny orange.
You could project onto that dome. You
Gosh,
could
totally.
put fiber optic stars in that dome.
Yeah.
You could project space into there. You could do whatever you want. It's a dome for whatever use your imagination can conjure, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think about that, but obviously.
And we didn't mention the Three Caballeros ride in
yeah.
Epcot either.
Wow,
so
we shortchanged
really,
Epcot. They've got some updates pending, huh?
Yeah, I really wanted the Coco ride that Disneyland's getting in our Three Caballeros, in place of our Three Caballeros ride.
Morgan and I both thought the same thing when we saw that concept art, which was that has to be from Epcot,
Yeah.
right? That has to be from the Grand Fiesta Tour, and they decided that they were instead going to put it in Disneyland, which is kind of curious. But I will say I love our Three Caballeros physical set portion of the ride, the end where you're in the town.
But they could have left that.
Exactly. I think that's beautiful. So like I love that, and the first half of the ride with all the screens, I think everyone can agree that that is ripe for some type of update.
Right. Yeah. I think the whole thing is ready for an update.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love that Mary Blair did the doll, the little figures.
So you're taking this personally.
In there. Well, she's dead, and she was a Disney legend, so like you don't really wanna throw out all of her work, you know.
I get it.
So it's the same reason that they are.
But they wouldn't have to, right?
Exactly. That's where I was going next. Is Coco is so right for because the concept art that they released at D23 takes place in that part of the ride.
I know
where they've already got the set dressing, the figures,
the fireworks,
everything.
It's
the boat.
It's wild that they didn't. I wonder if they will.
And everyone's saying, oh, where are they going to put the line? As if Disney really is, first of all, incapable of building some type of attachment to the building that would allow for the line.
Right, or another floor.
Or they care so much about the vendors in the Mexico Pavilion. They would throw those vendors out in a heartbeat for the money they would make
a good point.
off of Coco sales, Coco merchandise sales, by putting a Coco ride in there.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Say goodbye
including
to all of that.
the restaurant.
Including the restaurant.
Yeah.
I think they would much rather have a hit e-ticket Coco ride in there.
Agreed.
Than vendor stalls.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that they could take all that stuff out. It's like the river. I don't even think about them taking out stuff that's there unless it's an entire ride and changing it to a different ride.
Right.
But I don't even think about filling in a river. What? Okay.
I know, right? Because for us, that's just part of the deal.
The landscape.
You've got the river. You got to deal with the river.
Right. How are you going to work around the river?
See, now they're using their imagination.
They are.
You fill in that river. You put some cards on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I will say on here we also had never mind. Okay, so that I think we're actually done with that.
Okay, yes. So jumping back to Hollywood Studios, you were mentioning the Mickey shorts.
Okay.
And you were saying they could put, I think you were saying they could put the
a Playhouse Disney or something on there, sure.
I don't know.
Disney
I don't know if that would fit, would it?
Oh, I don't know. I was just spitballing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like your Sunset Showcase idea of getting rid of Lightning McQueen and putting Disney Junior.
I think that they also have space that we're not even aware of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in that same vein, maybe they've got space that they could put this whole Monsters Inc. land without taking anything away. But if they did have that, they probably would have not killed off our back, Streets of America and all that, right?
Well, a lot of the Streets of America land was used for Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge.
But if they had extra space, then they wouldn't have needed to do that.
Yeah, maybe that is true.
I don't know.
Or maybe they just saw.
Is there a lake they can fill in? Not Echo Lake.
Well, the reason the Streets of America were developed in the first place was so that they could film things there. No one has filmed anything at that park in a million years. Mm-hmm. So they were like, there's no attractions in there. Goodbye. Which I know
isn't true. Yeah.
Yes, there was the Osborne Spectacle Family of Dancing Lights, which was beloved by many, including me. And,
especially me.
Right. And especially Morgan. But from a operations standpoint, I think they saw all of that rideless land and they thought, oh, well, that's easy. We'll just cut that. And yeah, that's sad. But it is true. I think that's why they got rid of all of that. And honestly, the last remaining stretch of it on Grand Avenue where the Muppets are now, I think that's why people are so afraid that they're going to take it and Muppets and maybe Star Tours.
I also don't know how popular this Disney Junior Dance Party is. It might not even be popular.
I've never been in there.
I haven't either.
We don't have small children. So it would be, I don't think we would have fun in there.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But dance parties in 100-degree heat, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it would be better indoors somewhere anyway.
Oh, it is in a theater right now.
Oh, okay. It used to be kind of out in the street over there.
Oh, they have meet and greets out there now.
Got it.
But there's a little theater on the side of there where they do the dance party.
Okay.
So, like, that's why
That's why the Shorts place would make sense.
And I think, yes, that's why the Shorts place would make sense. And I'm also thinking that's where people, if they do use Animation Courtyard, I think people are thinking that will be the restaurant/shops portion of things, and the back would be the roller coaster part of things.
I feel like they're not going to make a land without planning to have at least 2 rides, right?
I don't know.
Is it a land if it's got 1 ride?
I think that's a little skimpy. Don't you?
Yeah, I don't land. I don't. Yeah. I just thought we were being told about 1 ride and more would come.
I would prefer that. For sure, just to be more. But they didn't announce that. And even for Encanto, or was it Encanto? Even for the Tropic Americas.
But that's not an Encanto land. That's the Tropical Americas.
Right.
And it's got 2 rides.
And even they announced
and a third.
That there would be a children's ride for that. So I think that they would have told us if there was another ride coming.
In the concept art, there's a slide, which at least makes you think there's some sort of a little park over there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like that.
One ride. I just assumed more information would come as we got closer.
I think they're operating on the...
I hope they're going to leave space for more.
That would be great, because I like Monsters, Inc. I think it would be cool to have like a full land. But I think Sunset Boulevard is home of several mini lands, like how Rock and Roller Coaster is kind of in its own modern music studio space, and then Hollywood Hotel is very much its own tiny little thing. And then also you have the old school Hollywood Theater that's not connected really to Tower of Terror.
But this is all supposed to be Hollywood.
Yeah, it is, and it is all Hollywood. Oh, so okay.
I'm saying I think those are all in the theme of Hollywood land.
Yes, different times of Hollywood, but you're right. There is a loose connection between them.
I know, it's loose.
That it's Hollywood. So yeah, I get it that one land for Monsters, Inc. would be a little unsatisfactory. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree
Interesting.
With that 100%.
Interesting. I imagine they'll leave space to put in another ride, assuming the land does well, which I imagine that it will.
Right.
Harryhausen's is the restaurant coming to Monsters Inc. land, which is exciting because it's in the movie. It's like a sushi restaurant.
Uh-huh.
I assume this will be a sit-down sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
Right?
I would think so.
Exciting.
You don't want to see something translated from screen to park and be a quick
serve gas station sushi.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see that.
Right. All right. We have a few more in Hollywood Studios.
Alrighty.
Did you want me to name one?
Sure.
Okay. So we put Rock and Roller Coaster on the list.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, when I was compiling these into list form, I did separate them into 2 tiers of priority for refresh, and if they got around to updating the theme.
Or we wouldn't mind a refresh, for this one, I think we would be okay with a basic, like, sprucing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wouldn't be opposed to a really well-themed total redo.
Would you be cool with this being the door coaster?
Oh my God. Is that a possibility?
I don't know.
Did you just make that up, or have you seen? Okay. That is actually, I think, what I said when we've talked about what would you do with this if you were to change this before, and I said turn it into a Monsters Inc. door coaster. Yes.
Whoa.
But thematically, that doesn't really work with that area unless you enter the Monstropolis over there. Yeah. Oh my God, that could be.
Instead of walking
I don't think. I think they would have said, right?
I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird when they announce something so big like that, like a full land, theoretically, and they don't tell you where it's going to go, because it really lets the mind wander, doesn't it?
I would say for any of you that might be concerned now that this is what's happening.
No, don't be.
I don't think you should be, because I think that if they were going to redo it, they would redo it in a way that they could reuse the track and ride system. And the Monsters Inc. roller coaster is supposed to like lift you up and it'd be a suspension. Is that what you call that kind of roller coaster, where you're suspended? So it wouldn't be the same kind.
They would have to knock everything down,
right?
Or at least get rid of the roller coaster.
They would have to gut it.
Yeah, gut it completely and start over.
So that made sense to me until I thought about that. So no, I don't think there's any chance that that'll happen.
All right.
So I don't have to worry about that. You mentioned an idea earlier, and I don't even want to say it because I love it so much. You deserve credit for this. But your idea that you had earlier, I would be okay with that.
I don't remember.
Really?
What are you talking about?
Really?
Yeah, what?
Okay.
Yeah. For that ride?
Yes, okay, let me say real quick, I do love Rock and Roller Coaster from a nostalgic point of view. I love Aerosmith. I've seen them in concert. Like, I'm down for it to stay.
Yeah.
Although I would like the music updated, especially the tracks that are
That's what I was going to say.
B-list.
Yeah. They're not
B-side.
They're
B-side.
they're not the most relevant band anymore. I mean, I know people love them. I'm not saying that their impact
We're not coming after them.
Music is not unquestionable, because it is unquestionable. Everyone knows Aerosmith songs. They're huge. But you also want something that will excite the majority of guests that walk into the park. And I would say there are certain demographics that Aerosmith plays better for than others. So, it feels
so
to
PC.
me...
That was so PC.
It feels just to me like that Aerosmith has kind of fallen off the face of the planet chart-wise. So, like, it would be cool.
They spanned, like, 3 decades, though. So, very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe 4.
Very impactful. 70s, 80s, 90s.
For sure.
For sure. Those decades, they were huge. So, like, to me, I could see this being replaced by something a little bit more current.
I don't really want it to be another band.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about what band would it be, and I think that's because Aerosmith was the 4th choice for this attraction.
Right.
Originally the Rolling Stones, and then a bunch of other bands turned
I was going to ask if you knew who, but I didn't want to put you on the spot.
The Stones.
And U2, right? Wasn't U2?
I think U2 was one of them, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But, gosh, imagine a world where that was not Aerosmith.
I know.
Hard to, right?
Yeah.
I think the personality of the ride would have been very different. But, yeah.
So to your better idea, though.
So, this is, to be clear, this is not my idea. A lot of people have posted this online.
Okay, but that doesn't mean it's not your idea also.
Oh, well,
a lot of people have a good idea. That doesn't take anything away from you. I hadn't heard it until you told me.
Thank you. A lot of people online, and I think that this would be cool, have said that it would be cool to have a power line themed roller coaster in there.
Yes, same. You could have this. It'd be the same roller coaster, basically. The same even story plot.
Yes, and I would argue that is like Hollywood themed adjacent. They're going to LA in the movie for the concert.
Exactly. It might even be more thematically correct.
Yeah, and imagine a really good mix of Eye to Eye.
You're right.
Playing while you're...
There's multiple songs that would work, so they could still shuffle songs, but I think there are 2 or 3 that are really fast-paced like that.
Stand out. Eye to Eye. Yes. These are the bangers.
Those are the 2 I can think of. There might be a 3rd. Anyway, so you'd have your you'd get one or the other song. Maybe there's another one. They replace some of the like signage or add on to the signage to show you Powerline or Goofy Movie type stuff. You could have in that beginning scene, you know what I mean? I'm just saying it would be an easy update.
Easier than Monsters, Inc.
Right. It wouldn't be a new ride. It'd be the same ride.
Yeah, and you would fly. You know that part of the movie where one of the vocalists was singing and their uvula is going crazy and it's a zoom in on their mouth while they're singing? Are you familiar with this?
Oh, the Goofy Movie.
Yes, Goofy Movie. Yes, while they're singing Eye to Eye.
I was like I thought you were talking about in the pre-show of the Aerosmith.
Oh, no.
Okay.
There's like a soulful moment in the song where one of the singers opens their mouth and it like the camera zooms in on their mouth.
That's just how you messed me up. The camera. Go on.
Well, yes.
That's the what they were going for.
Right.
Yeah.
They zoom in on the singer's mouth. I feel like you could fly right through that on the roller coaster. Would be fun. I know that sounds crazy. But
that does sound crazy.
if you look at the part of the movie, it just makes sense.
Okay.
If you rewatch the Goofy movie. But I think I was saying
you could buy some Cheese Whiz at the end of it.
I forgot there's so much Cheese Whiz
so
in
much
that movie.
Cheese Whiz.
There's a whole generation of people who love a Goofy movie, and I feel
those people are now adults who have kids.
Yes, and I feel like it's one of those properties that is ready to be revived in some way.
Easy
Disney
to revive.
Channel, Disney Plus movie, Disney Plus series, something. And I feel like maybe when that comes along, I feel like it might be.
You could leave the guitar out front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
just
it's
paint
so
it a different
easy.
color or something. Yeah, that would be really, really cool. I think Powerline, I think, should have a presence.
I'm wondering if there's a contract with Aerosmith about how long.
Yeah,
it's not a sponsorship. You know what I mean? So
no, yeah, it's a contract, and it's really interesting because I think that contract has been renewed several times. So it'd be interesting to see what eventually would be.
And Aerosmith just officially retired.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that has happened in the last couple weeks. So.
Does that have an impact?
They're done. You know what I mean?
They no longer sell Aerosmith merchandise at Rock and Roll.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
They used to sell Aerosmith branded stuff in
right.
that gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot find the word Aerosmith on anything in there. It only says Rock and Roller Coaster.
Like 8 years ago, they almost dropped Aerosmith, I heard, because he got caught with...
He had a scandal.
There was a scandal with the pre-show of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
He was making an inappropriate finger gesture that no one caught.
Either intentionally or unintentionally. Right.
What do you think?
I don't care. Because whatever.
Fair.
Whether he did it intentionally or unintentionally, they should have caught it, and they had to digitally go in and alter his fingers because they didn't, I didn't even know.
They didn't catch it for decades. I mean, maybe a decade, but
yeah, a long time. And I didn't even know that gesture was obscene.
I didn't know what it meant.
So I don't particularly...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, I just think that whole thing was kind of silly.
I think one of my siblings told me, which is good, because you don't want to have to look that kind of thing up.
No, definitely not. Anyway. All right.
Anyway.
What do we have left on here?
We have the Beauty and the Beast show.
Yep.
Feeling like that's a little 90s. There are better ways in Broadway today to showcase a character that's smaller than human size than dressing them up
in a huge mascot costume. Yeah, we're talking about Chip specifically.
Yeah.
Let's be real. It's crazy that he's the same height as Belle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird and jarring to the eye.
It makes it feel very little kiddish, like you're watching a Disney Junior production.
Unfortunately, that is true, and it's weird because the rest of the show is proper musical theater, and
gorgeous costuming,
gorgeous costumes,
gorgeous sets,
elaborate, lavish sets, fun backdrops and scrims and fog and lighting effects, the whole 9 yards, everything you expect from a show, and then out come these Disney on Ice style costume characters. Yeah, it's time for that to change.
So yeah, more recently, when they have a character that's smaller than the humans, they'll have a human holding a puppet. Mm-hmm. It just works. It works really well because you're looking at the character in the correct size, but you also get to see the human that is portraying the puppet and them sing and do movements. They even do facial expressions that make sense. So whether you're looking at the human or the puppet,
it's all in the universe.
Yes.
Finding Nemo the musical uses this technique to great effect over at Animal Kingdom. So Disney is known to utilize this tactic not only in Broadway or cruise ship entertainment, but
cruise ship is what I was going to say. I'm sure you knew.
Yes, but also in the theme parks they've used it. So there's really no reason not to go that direction or the direction of, there's a lot of creative ways to represent characters, but I think they're looking for the likeness of the thing from the movie to be pretty accurate. Because
even
Disney is very specific.
a chip puppet would be teeny.
Right. You would have to put that on a tea cart.
Right.
Which I would love.
Right.
I've been screaming for a Mrs. Potts tea cart in some form for a long time, whether in Be Our Guest restaurant or in the show. I think that's how you do that. You use your imagination. But I would say Beauty and the Beast, I don't want to see the show go because I love the show, but obviously it needs a change.
I wouldn't mind it, and I don't know if you'll like this, but I wouldn't mind it being turned into a Disney compilation type Broadway show. They do some really good versions of these on the cruise ships where there is even a story. Like Mickey comes out and is explaining, or somebody comes out and is saying, I'm nervous about this or whatever. The little girl going, let me do the one instead of my brain hopping to all the different options. Little girl going into middle school and is nervous about it, and then Peter Pan comes through for her, like, and
this is the one I've watched on YouTube.
Oh, nice. And is showing
Disney
her
Wishes, I think.
all I believe is what it's called.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm mixing them up.
They're all kind of
very
the same.
similar. So for some reason, somebody needs inspiration, and then all the different characters come in at different times and do their songs. Different. Peter Pan will do his song.
Magic.
Yes, and then, I'm not going to go into details, but
it's on stage.
I wouldn't mind that. That would solve the puppet issue because you just have a song that didn't involve. If you wanted a Beauty and the Beast song, you would just do the Beauty and the Beast song that doesn't involve Chip.
Right. Maybe the dance sequence, the Beauty and the Beast title track,
would
be
That's
Tale as Old as Time.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
I was thinking it was just called Beauty and the Beast.
It is.
Okay.
I just call it that so people know that I'm talking about the song.
Got it.
Yes.
And then have Chip be a meet and greet somewhere because that would be funny.
Cute. I know I'm a staunch defender of Beauty and the Beast live on stage, but what you just described, I would actually really like to see because that whole theater is meant to, first of all, it's meant to be the Hollywood Bowl theater, and a lavish musical production of any kind would fit on that stage.
Exactly.
In fact, they use it for that.
Right.
They use it for during the holiday season, during Jollywood Nights, they put a variety show up there. With the Muppets.
I was going to say, really? You're going to leave out Miss Piggy right now?
Kermit and Miss Piggy. And then they also use it for park stuff. Like if their entertainment sometimes has they have events on that stage for cast members. And then they also they did the Pixar symphony thing on that stage
I missed
a while
that.
ago.
I wish I would have been able to see that.
So they see that stage is versatile.
Flexible, sure. And I think I don't have a clue. You probably do. When MGM opened, and this was what they put in there, Beauty and the Beast was their big Broadway hit, right? Beauty
and the Beast live on stage actually came out the exact same time as Beauty and the Beast the film came out back in 1990 something. And it was
1993 or something. Okay.
Yeah, because that was when Sunset Boulevard was opening.
When did Beauty and the Beast come out on Broadway?
A little bit after that, toward the end of the 90s.
So did they have a Broadway blockbuster yet? No.
They had not done a foray into Broadway yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this made sense for that time period, but maybe less sense now.
I agree with that.
And they could switch, if they did something like Disney Believe or whatever, then they could switch it if they wanted. You know what I mean?
New sequences in there.
Right. You want to promote...
Like PhilharMagic.
Encanto, you just add an Encanto. Yes, like PhilharMagic.
We don't talk about Bruno live musical number.
That would be fun.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
All those characters singing at the same time, dancing around the table.
Oh, I love that scene.
That would be great.
Yeah.
What a good idea. All right. The last thing I have here on the main part of the list is an Animal Kingdom.
Oh, no. Can we just... Here, let me just finish these two.
Go ahead.
You said Frozen Sing-Along should be turned to Frozen 2.
Especially now that Frozen 3 is on the way.
For real. And Frozen 4.
Time to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't just be focused on Frozen 1. Frozen 1 is a wonderful movie. I like Frozen 2 better.
a lot of people really liked Frozen. It really resonated.
Yeah.
You know, it was huge in the box office too, so no need to worry about that.
It would make a lot of sense to me for them to update this to Frozen
No
2.
Into the Unknown at the very least.
I know.
Yeah, we definitely need that.
I agree.
We need to forget about them telling the entire story of the first movie. We need to drop that, as they are the Arendelle historians are very entertaining. They can still tell the history of Arendelle, but literally going through the entire sequence events of the movies, it's tedious. They don't even want to do it.
And we all have it memorized.
And everyone has seen that movie so many times.
We don't need a recap.
Yeah.
None of us.
It's time to tell the history of Arendelle by singing the songs and just let it be.
Right.
You know? All of the songs from the movies. Not all of them, but songs from Frozen 1.
I can't believe they felt the need to be like, okay, what about the people that haven't seen the movie? How are we going to explain to them how this, like, there aren't any people like that.
You can tell it came out right when Frozen was coming out because they didn't even realize that Frozen would be their
number one movie,
huge juggernaut of a film.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You put Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular on here. I know.
Can you tell Morgan likes the show?
Yeah. I do like the show.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I can
tell
what would you do?
To think about this changing. I
like it, but I don't actually go watch it anymore, which might be a bad sign. So,
I know this sounds bad, but I would knock it down.
Oh! You want to put a Monsters Inc. land over there?
Yeah.
Oof.
Just to
protect the Muppets.
First of all,
can you believe this?
Outdoor theaters for shows that are longer than 15-20 minutes should be illegal in the state of Florida.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially if there are fire pyrotechnics as part of the show. It just doesn't.
Who did this?
It's too much. Indiana Jones is coming to Animal Kingdom, so no fear of representation for Indiana Jones within the theme
fear of lack of representation.
That's what I meant. Thank you. And I just
would you put something else there?
A different.
Anything?
Do you mean would I put a different show in that theater?
Yeah.
No, I would knock it down and build a ride there because I think
what ride fits over there?
In Echo Lake, that's a great question. I think you might have to actually introduce a transition point into that space so that you could reveal your new Monsters Inc. land into that. So I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You better hope you're wrong because that might bleed into the Muppets area.
Yes,
it's close. It's close.
I actually think I don't think there's enough room. It is a huge amount of space that show uses. If you've ever seen that show, you know they move an entire enormous facade out of the way behind another huge practical set.
Good point.
Huge practical set. And behind that practical set is storage for the things in that show.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a huge, enormous chunk of land. And it is very surprising to me that it has not gone sooner, to be honest with you. I actually have very strong, positive, emotional memories of this show.
Me too. That's my issue with it.
Especially the beginning where he's going through this obstacle course and these figures are like dropping their axes.
I know. I love that.
And he's dodging arrows and then the ball comes and he's got to go away from the boulder just like in the movie. I love all of that.
Right. They taught you about the movies. Yeah.
Right. And of course, it's got that really cool behind the movies feel to it.
Right.
However, Disney has made it very clear that they do not care about that at all.
They don't care about that. That's not how movies are made anymore.
Yeah, that is also true.
Now it would just be you're running in front of a green screen.
Yeah, a big blue room in Atlanta.
Let me show you what this is like now.
I know. Yeah. Wow. So I think that this is definitely on the chopping block, in my opinion. Maybe very soon.
I have thought that for 5 years or longer, and it's still here. It's still kicking. But I also I can't think of what else they could put there thematically.
Really, I think anything jungle themed, because it's really, like, Indiana Jones doesn't fit there either. Okay. You know what I mean?
Fantastic point.
Point. Indiana Jones is like out of the blue for Echo Lake.
Okay, fantastic point.
So I don't know.
I was thinking, maybe it would be 50s themed because there's the 50s primetime cafe.
And Incredibles attraction.
I thought that. I truly thought that because of the timing, but
that would be great.
But Incredibles is so like bam in your face, and 50s primetime cafe is like I Love Lucy. You know what I mean?
Well, they could. I mean,
coexist. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also just don't think the exterior has to be bam in your face. As long as the inside of whatever the experience would be was sufficiently graphic, not like gruesome graphic. I mean, like sufficiently eye-catching, poppy, and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Incredibles what?
Incredibles training lab, and you're in the jungle, like in one of those.
Oh,
movies.
the first one.
Yeah,
the first one. He's in the jungle. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you have to go on a mission with the Incredibles, where they use all of their powers to save the day in the form of whatever ride, vehicle, or entertainment offering they want to do.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
I would love that.
Me too. Okay. You just made me okay with
it. As long as whatever, honestly, isn't the key to all of this. As long as what's replacing it is good.
Yes.
As long as it's like a high quality offering.
I mean, there are certain things that if they take it down, I don't care how good, but you know what I mean?
I felt that way about the Great Movie Ride.
Yes, I know. I did too. And then they put something not good for me in there. But I don't know that they could have put anything in there that I would have been happy with, because
that was truly one where it felt like, okay, so you just take one of these movies out, and you put whatever movie you want in that space, and you call it.
Right.
Great. Easy to update. You would think.
Yeah. I still think.
There's a montage at the end. Put whatever you want on the montage.
It's a screen. Yeah.
Come out Disney Plus. I don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the best idea ever. I wish it would have stayed that way. Or I mean, I wish it would have become that or stayed the way it was. If they take out, Haunted Mansion or Wedway and they update it, I think I would be mad.
And it's so funny that, oh yes, Wedway or the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Because they're classics and they're good.
Right. Don't you think Ride the Movies as a philosophy actually came from the Great Movie Ride? It's so weird to replace it in the lieu of classic cinema, whatever, behind the movies. The Great Movie Ride really wasn't even that behind the movies.
It wasn't.
It
was traveling through the movies.
Literally. Mm-hmm. So
you could put right, and that's what we're doing by going through all these lands anyway.
I feel like that's actually the whole point of the Great Movie Ride. So it's so weird that they knocked it down because it didn't fit with the theme of MGM anymore, because it actually was the future of Hollywood studios.
Did they say it was because of the theme that they took it out? Because I heard that it was because of the end of the contract with Turner Classic Movies.
I actually do think that is the reason.
Well, good, because that is more acceptable than it did. If they had said this doesn't fit thematically, I would be angry.
I think
actually angry.
Yes, I think that would be. But I think Turner Classic Movies choosing not to continue their sponsorship was the catalyst, but I think the decision to let go of the entire attraction was because they thought, well, Hollywood Studios is going in a different direction. What can we do here? And I think that was a bad call. Mm-hmm. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a lot of people really enjoy it. I enjoy it as an attraction, but I cannot ride it without thinking about what a crime it was.
So it would have been great in Magic Kingdom. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm saying it should not exist where it exists.
I would be happy to have it in Animation Courtyard.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically anywhere. Sunset.
Look at all these options they have now that you know what I mean?
I know.
They could have put it in place of Indiana Jones. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been a little sad about it, but not obviously we talk about this so much because it's losing the Great Movie Ride was devastating.
And also a huge shift in the way the company viewed attractions, I feel, because the Great Movie Ride was generally considered to be a classic, an untouchable type of thing.
Yeah, right.
And so it's it's wild to think that.
Yeah, it does make us worry about everything.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like the Mickey and Minnie ride would have fit better in Magic Kingdom, which is, I mean, where they put it in Disneyland makes so much sense. Great job with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they have a really cool queue for it over there as well. Have you seen?
No.
There's I saw a video of it, and it's like you're in a cartoon movie theater.
Wait, you're saying I've got to go on it when I go to Disneyland?
Yeah, there are practical effects in the queue.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it would be cool. All right, I've got one thing left. That was it from that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one thing left on here for Animal Kingdoms, real quick. Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Oh, right. Yeah, we didn't have a lot for Animal Kingdom.
No, they're taking out the thing that really needed an update. I would have preferred it to be updated and not replaced.
Agreed.
We're talking about Dinoland USA, specifically the dinosaur attraction.
Right, Dinoland USA. The rest of it.
It's already, I mean, really, for me, it was just Primeval Whirl, and now that's gone. So whatever, I don't care about the carnival games that much.
Or the Triceratops spin.
My favorite. So, the dinosaur attraction going away, I think that was the thing that was most glaringly ready for a major change of some kind. So they're doing that. So I think really the only thing left in Animal Kingdom that's a little bit of a head scratcher of an attraction is Rafiki's Planet Watch, which is only accessible by train. Most guests have no idea what it is.
Or that it exists.
And then when you get there, the first thing that you see is a petting zoo.
Agreed, yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I took a train to the petting zoo. Very strange.
Yeah.
Something that is cool in there is the Animal Care Center, where they have windows into the care facilities for the animals. I've never actually seen like a surgery or anything go on in there.
Would you want to?
Nope.
Neither would I.
But I can see why something like that really works in Animal Kingdom.
Sure.
Where the whole thing is like taking care of the earth and the animals.
Yeah.
I get it. However, from a land perspective, weird that this has survived so long, don't you think?
Yes.
Feels very opening day Animal Kingdom, but then it was replaced early on.
Right.
That's the timeline for it that I see in my brain, but it has survived all of this time.
Yeah, I wonder how many people even go over there.
I had never been until a couple of years ago when they opened the drawing class in there. And I will say, that was very interesting because it was
How many people were over there?
I think the only people that were over there were there for the drawing class, and it sat maybe like upwards of 50 people. So whoever was there for the drawing class was over there. But I think the entire reason they were over there was for the drawing class, which could be in Hollywood Studios, anywhere. So the Art of Animation Resort.
They have a lot of hidden Mickeys over there.
That is cool.
That's it. That's all. That's the only reason I would go over there, to be honest with you. I don't think that it seems interesting enough for enough people. You're right. They could definitely do something with it. They actually have a lot of land over there anyway.
Right. Yeah. So that one just seems like a no-brainer to update for me.
I feel bad for Animal Kingdom.
Really? Why?
It seems to be most people's least favorite park.
Yeah.
It seems to get the least amount of love.
I agree. I would agree.
Even I mean even with new stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess we got Pandora, and now they're changing Dinoland.
I was just about to say, I think maybe just the luster of Pandora has worn off for you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which I completely resonate with, because now the Flight of Passage is blurry and Navi River Journey is 5 minutes long. So like not in a good way. I think boat rides should be longer than that.
I thought you meant the wait time. I was like, I don't think that the wait time is... No, the wait times are long for both of the rides in Pandora. And they're both... not both. I can't say this about Navi River because I don't go on it very often. But yeah, Flight of Passage, which was my favorite ride in Animal Kingdom for a while. It's back to Everest, which is my like OG favorite Animal Kingdom ride. It's falling apart a little bit. Yeah, it's a little blurry. Sometimes you get soaked with water. Sometimes you get no water, like on the scenes where they spray you.
Right.
It doesn't have... when it first opened, I could have spent all day on there.
Because it really is transportive.
Right.
It really accomplishes its
And it's
mission.
Still amazing. But also, I think the problem is back when it opened, we had the option to get Fast Pass. And now we have to pay for Fast Pass, so we just don't do it very often.
Right.
So when I think, oh, hey, let's go to Animal Kingdom, what do you want to do? Everest. Okay, that's it. I mean, dinosaur.
Jake is going to drag you to the Lion King show, because that's what I always do with people at Animal Kingdom.
You have not taken me to the Lion King show yet, I don't think.
We'll go.
Okay.
I'm going to make you
We don't go to Animal Kingdom
I'm just
much.
kidding. I threatened her with audience participation, but she knows it's not true.
Right.
Because I know it's her.
Yeah.
I know it's her, the bane of her existence.
Yeah. Usually Everest and Dinosaur are the two things I want to go on.
Yeah.
And that's that. I like going to a restaurant there. Yak and Yeti, and that's it.
I'll be excited for the new Zootopia show. I'm sure this Indiana Jones...
Oh, yeah, see, I'm wrong. They are getting more...
I would say the Zootopia thing is a fairly minor change, and Indiana Jones is replacing another attraction that we were doing. So actually, the amount of things that we're going to be doing in Animal Kingdom is actually probably going to pretty much stay the same. Until they make another major expansion of some kind in that park, which is interesting. What we're really hoping for is a nighttime spectacular.
And I would go if they were open at night more, I think, because a lot of times we as locals will go in the afternoon, but they're like 2 hours from closing by the time we get there. So
that is the Animal Kingdom problem.
That is that's the problem for the locals, I would say.
Yeah, we hope Animal Kingdom gets some additional love at some point soon, in addition to these Dino Land replacements that we've known kind of were coming for quite a while.
They're exciting. I'm excited for both of those rides.
And Indiana Jones, a new Indiana Jones attraction from Disney Imagineering, who the last time they got their hands on Indiana Jones delivered one of the most iconic, immersive, thrilling attractions of all time.
Are you talking about the Disneyland one?
I am.
Haven't they done the other one since? The Paris one? It's like a roller coaster.
That one, we don't talk about that.
I don't know anything about it. I know it exists.
It's actually a really interesting case of Disney buying an off-the-shelf model of a roller coaster and lightly theming it to archaeological dig.
That doesn't sound like Disney. Is that when Disney Paris isn't owned by? Is that the problem?
I don't know. Temple, that one is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. It's got a kind of a reputation of being one of those Disney rides that doesn't really feel like a Disney ride.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So that one a little bit less so. So you're right. They did get their hands on Indiana Jones and do something terrible with it. But I don't think that's actually what they're doing, because they've revealed that it's going to be a brand new story with the same ride technology as the one in
Disneyland. Because it always has. Yeah.
How can they fail? It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be something to be very excited for. So.
I'm very excited for it. I'm also excited for the Encanto ride. Now that we're talking about changes, I guess I would...
Encanto ride, that's something we'll do.
Yeah.
No question, yeah.
We shouldn't say that.
You're right. Because we would have thought that about Princess and the Frog.
I absolutely thought that about Princess and the Frog.
Yep.
So I wouldn't mind a story being added back to the Kilimanjaro Safari ride.
I actually flirted with the idea of putting Kilimanjaro Safari on this list.
Right.
Just because it feels like it hasn't had any substantial change other than reduction since it opened.
Yeah. The story that they had to begin with gave it an edge up over the kind of safari ride you would take at like a zoo or a Busch Gardens.
Yes.
And then they took that away, and now it's like the kind of safari ride you would get at a zoo or Busch Gardens.
Exactly.
So I think adding a story or something to Disney-fy it would be lovely.
That's actually the exact thought process I was going with. Because yes, it is a world tier safari attraction.
Right.
Wonderful. But
you guys push this not a zoo thing, like show us that you're not a zoo. Disney-fy it a little bit.
Even if that means your safari takes a mystical, magical turd into some fog, and all of a sudden you're face to face with some huge dinosaurs, or like something really exciting.
Bring the dinosaurs back.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something.
Yeah, you went above and beyond. I was just basically thinking something like that was there before, but something bigger would be amazing.
Well, they've got the room. That's the biggest plot of land in Walt Disney World. Yes. Is that safari.
Right.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And then it would make it a ride and a safari.
Right.
Which would make it worth going on.
It can almost be like the tram tour at Universal Studios, where it takes you through through multiple different
or the tram tour that used to be in MGM.
Yeah.
And then you go to a section that's more like a staged adventure.
Right.
Like Catastrophe Canyon was.
Mm-hmm. And they had like a little element of that with a bridge that used to have like an action sequence before.
Yeah.
But that is long since spotty, if not working at all anymore.
Right. And it's kind of that very minor to the point that most people didn't even realize that they were on a staged wobbly bridge.
Right.
Disney actually got some complaints about the safety because of it.
You telling me this for the first time, and I was like, "What?" But I could see it.
That stuff happens everywhere because people come and don't know. But that one I found particularly humorous.
That is funny. Yeah.
Anyway,
those are just some of the things around Walt Disney World that we see potential in for something even greater than they are now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the monorail, right outside of Disney.
Okay, yeah, the monorail.
I just think it needs the next level up. What are we on, the Mark 6 or something? What's next?
There are new trains. Bombardier is the company that manufactures the trains for the monorail, and they have since come out with some very impressive new iterations of the monorail. I'll send you some pictures that maybe we can share on Instagram.
Yeah.
I would love to see new trains on the monorail. Huge expense. They're crazy.
I know, that's expensive. The problem. That's what I've heard is the problem. But I heard that was the problem, and then they built the Skyliner. So
right. Do you think there's a possibility that building the Skyliner in its entirety was less expensive than replacing the monorail?
I have no idea. Interesting.
That's scary to think about.
Right.
Because that means we're never getting new monorails. It means they're just going to fall off the track. They're so old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really feel like that might be the case if they're that expensive. Because
they
do get you from point A to point B.
Yes, they do. Right. And what I keep thinking when I hear this is airports have monorails. Mm-hmm. So if an airport can afford a monorail, Disney seems like they have so much more money in their budget for that kind of thing than an airport should have.
Yes.
But what do I know?
Yeah, I get that because I've been in some airports where they have a monorail or a people mover type thing. Specifically, the one in Atlanta makes me fear for my life.
Really?
So, yeah, because it's very like...
See, I'm thinking of the one in Tampa, and I'm like, this is fine. You know?
That one is fine.
Let's get one of these going to Animal Kingdom somewhere.
From Animal Kingdom Lodge. I want them to be connected in some way. Would be great.
They're very
for
close.
My Boma commute.
I know. For your Boma commute only. I know. How funny.
Yeah.
I would love for it. I know it's too far away, but I mean, it's not that... It's not too far away because they talked about putting a monorail from the airport to Disney World.
Right.
So that's way, way farther.
way, a whole city farther, actually.
Right.
But yes, that would some investment in the monorails. I agree.
You want people to go to Animal Kingdom, you're going to need to up the transportation options to get there.
That is so true. Mm-hmm. I think that does play into part of the reason why you were saying it's like lowest on the people's priority list.
Agreed.
I think lack of convenient transportation.
Fun transportation. There's no fun transportation in there. Yeah.
Take your car. Fun.
Yeah. Bus.
They've got a whole land of those coming to the Magic Kingdom right here.
What do you mean?
Cars.
All
right. I think that covers our list. That rounds us out. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, thank you so much for listening or watching. If you would like to consume more of our content, we're also on social media on Instagram and TikTok at Neverland Navco.
Right. We also have an Etsy shop called Neverland Navigation on Etsy where we make custom Disney or whatever shirts. Just send a message. Tell me your favorite whatever, or I'm looking for a shirt for my spouse. His favorite is Figment. Make you something like this that Jake is wearing, or something totally different. I've got lots and lots of options. If you're thinking about taking a trip, like I said before, please email me at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com so that we can talk about it. It's free to you, costs the same or less, and you get free shirts.
No matter where you're going, if you want to make the ease of your vacation even more magical, there's no better way to do it than by booking Morgan as your travel agent. All right, that'll do it for this episode. We've got some rides to renovate, so we'll see you on our next adventure. Goodbye.